Hello, creatives. Thank you for dropping by. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel, helps out our algorithm. So today's thought is an interesting one because it's a thought that you don't hear often unless you have a dad that works with construction, ladders, tools, or you work in an occupation that requires those sort of tools or ladders or um, electric tools, power tools, and things like that. The thought is a ladder has two ends. And when I first heard this, I must have been early teens when I first heard this one. And I was working a job, a sign company actually, where you use ladders all the time. We had these huge, heavy wooden ladders because we sometimes had to be near power lines, so we didn't want to get electrocuted, or we use these fiberglass ladders. But we used the old heavy wooden ladders. We had 32 foot, 40 foot, and you had to learn how to carry them by yourself. And it's a specific way of carrying a ladder. But on occasion, you'd carry the ladder the long way, right, by your side. And very often in the beginning, when I first started using these ladders, I would just walk. I'd carry it, and I would walk, and I'm only looking at the first part of the first half of the ladder, not thinking, what is the back of the ladder going to hit when I turn or as I move? And every so often, I'd get screamed at, it has two ends. And I'd be like, no kidding, it has two ends. But what they were trying to tell me, and that time what my boss was trying to tell me, is that you've got to pay attention not to what you're seeing, what you're carrying, what you're seeing in front of you, but what's going on behind you. There's people behind you. There are things, cars, businesses, glass storefronts that you can crash the ladder into. There are a bunch of things that are happening behind you that if you don't pay attention, you're going to do some damage. Now, let's apply that to life, because many times we walk around and we interact and we do things only focused on what's in front of us. But we have a tendency, not all, but a lot of us, we have a tendency sometimes that when things are behind us, we don't really pay attention to them, or we don't pay attention to the people that we may be leaving behind us, or that we may be disregarding, or that we may not be paying attention to. The same way a ladder has two ends, and you have to focus on what's in front of you, what's coming at you, which is going before you. But you also have to be careful and be aware of what's happening behind you. In our lives, it's the same thing. You have to be focused with what's ahead, but you also have to be focused with what's behind you, the people that are behind you, the things that you may be leaving behind, or even more, the things you might be forgetting about, or the details you might be missing. The ladder has two ends. If you don't pay attention to what's behind you, if you don't pay attention to those details that are behind you that you kind of need, right, to be able to go forward, you might be doing damage without knowing it. Because I remember a few times I carried that ladder and I would turn, and I'm turning with the ladder, and the ladder hit something, hit a car, hit a person. It's like the ladder has two ends. And in life, we sometimes forget that our life isn't just going forward. We do have a legacy behind us, of people behind us, and things and situations that are still going on behind us. And every so often, it's really important to turn and look and see, how are those people behind us doing? What's going on? You didn't get here wherever you are by accident. It takes people for us to move through life. And that old saying, don't forget where you came from. It's kind of important. You don't forget where you came from. Don't forget everyone who helped you become successful. Every so often, look back, say hi, help them up, pull them up if they need it. The ladder has two ends. It's not just always forward, forward, forward. You've got to always look back as well and help those behind you who may not be where you are, but are on their way. And if you remember that the ladder has two ends, your life becomes much fuller, and it's a good thing. So today I want you to take that thought with you. I mean, it's a weird, kind of interesting small thought, but it's a very important one. A ladder has two ends. Above all, was be uncommon. Have a great day.